A showdown in Basra. The grip of these men, the militia of the Mahdi army, over Iraq's second largest city, challenged by the Iraqi army. The government tries, street by street, to do what the British army couldn't and clean up the centre of Iraq's oil wealth. A tough challenge indeed.
The militia, Al-Mahdi militia, control most of the Basra, and they control the main street. You can't find any national army or national guards on the roads right now. And they control on some police stations, and even they capture prisoners from the national guard.
Locals said murder and kidnapping had spun out of control, even though in December Britain said Basra was safe enough for the Iraqis to run it. Britain and America stood back, only a few helicopters observing, Iraq's Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki on scene, vowing to reimpose law. But within hours, Basra's clashes became something bigger, a countrywide standoff with Iraq's most powerful militia. Their gunmen seized control of part of Kut. A curfew was then imposed across that city and in Nasiriyah, Hilla and Samawa. Militia also poured onto the streets of Najaf and the Baghdad slum of Sadr city, where they reportedly forced Iraqi police off the streets. Iraqi and American forces later entered Sadr city, causing this damage after rockets were fired from here into the international zone. The militia's leadership threatening escalation unless the campaign of arrests against it stops.
We call upon all Iraqis to stage a general strike across Iraq as a first step. And if the Iraqi government doesn't respect our demands, the second step will be civil disobedience. After that, they will have to wait for the third step, which will not be disclosed at this time.
Little doubt he means more bloodshed. This militia, a byproduct of 5 years of anarchy, showed its peaceful side with police here. But it's unclear if any single man is in charge of this sprawling, violent gang. This man, Muqtada al-Sadr, is meant to be. He's ordered a ceasefire and been off studying the Quran, but recently admitted his leadership was shaky. Fears growing he might not be able to stop the uprising that seems to be starting. All a far cry away from December's British handover of the city to Iraqi control. While officers privately admitted then the violent Mahdi army dominated the city, the official line was that violence was down.
The security situation as regards the militias who were leading the violence, Shia on Shia violence, that was really at very, very high levels in the middle of this year, that violence has been massively reduced.
So it was about explaining this sea change.
I mean, in essence, the situation has changed. Otherwise, the Iraqi government would not be launching an operation like this. In the intervening months since December, there has been some form of a turf war being fought in Basra between the three main groupings of militia.
But he added British tanks would not be rolling back into Basra. This crisis could not have come at a worse time. The Mahdi army's months-long ceasefire has helped reduce American casualties and boosted the relative success of its surge security plan. But now Basra's clashes risk putting this sprawling militia on the offence again and causing one of Iraq's many nightmares to recur.